Barbarik, the greatest archer in Mahabharat. Barbarik is an important character in Mahabharat. Barbarik was a symbol of equality, who was bound by his principle to always fight for the weaker side. Barbarik was the only warrior in the legend of Mahabharat who was invincible enough to be abetted by Lord Krishna himself to commit suicide so that he can be prevented from engaging in the war. Barbarik is the son of Ghatotkacha and Ahilavati. Barbarika was none other than grandson of Bhim and Hidimba. Ahilavati, apart from being his mother, she was his teacher too. She taught Barbarik the art of warfare. Barbarik was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, pleased with him, gave him 3 infallible arrows, Teen Ban. Since he is the bearer of these 3 powerful arrows, he came to be known as Teen Bandhari, the bearer of 3 arrows. Further, Agni, god of fire, gave him the bow that makes him invincible in the 3 worlds. When Barbarik learns about Kurukshetra war between Pandavas and Kauravas, he wanted to witness the war. Before leaving for Kurukshetra, he promised his mother that if he finds it necessary to fight in the war, he would support and fight along with the side which is losing in the war at that point. Before the Mahabharata war started, Krishna asked all the powerful warriors among Pandavas and Kauravas that in how many days they can finish the war alone. Among Kauravas, Bhishma answered that he can finish the war in 20 days. Dronacharya said he can destroy all the opponents in 25 days. Karna replied that he would take 24 days. Among Pandavas, Arjuna said that it would take him 28 days to finish the war alone. When Barbarik arrived at Kurukshetra, Krishna learned about him. In order to test Barbarik's strength, he disguised himself as a Brahman and appeared before him. Krishna asked the same question which he had asked all the warriors, that how much time it will take him to finish the battle alone. Barbarik replied that it will take him only 1 minute. This surprises Krishna. He asked him that how he can end the battle in 1 minute. Barbarik replied that he is the bearer of 3 infallible arrows, and his single arrow is sufficient enough to destroy all the opponents. He continued that he uses the first arrow to mark all the opponents that he wants to destroy. Then, using the second arrow, he marks all the people he wishes to save. Now the third arrow will destroy every opponent who were marked for destruction and then return to his quiver. To test Barbarik's power and to verify that whatever he is saying is true, he challenged him to tie all the leaves of the peepal tree under which he was standing, using his arrows. Barbarik closed his eyes and starts meditating to release his first arrow for marking the leaves. At that moment, Krishna plucks one leaf from the tree and hides it under his foot. Now the arrow marks all the leaves of the tree but starts hovering over Krishna's leg. Krishna, surprised by this behavior of the arrow, asked Barbarik that why is this happening. He replied that there must be a leaf beneath your foot and advises him to lift his foot. Otherwise, the arrow will pierce it to mark the leaf. After this incident, Krishna realizes that his arrows are in fact infallible. He thinks of a condition that, what if Barbarik fights alongside Kauravas against the Pandavas? Then there is no way Pandavas can hide from these arrows and their defeat is certain. Barbarik replied that he has promised his mother that he would support and fight along with the side which is losing in the war at that point. So as per the numbers, Pandavas have a comparatively smaller army than that of Kauravas, so he will fight from Pandavas' side as they are relatively weaker. Krishna, after hearing this, realizes that Barbarik does not understand the complexity of his own principle of always fighting on the losing side. In order to make him understand, Krishna told him, whichever side you are going to support will win the battle. But the problem is that if you fight on the side of Pandavas, then Kauravas will become weak. And if you fight on the side of Kauravas, then Pandavas' side becomes weak. Therefore you have to constantly switch sides to support the other side that has become weaker because of the promise you made to your mother. In this way, you will keep oscillating between Pandavas and Kauravas and end up destroying armies on both sides. Thus, none of the side will be victorious and you would be the lone survivor of the war. The disguised Krishna sought charity from Barbarik. Barbarik promised to give anything he wants. Then Krishna asked for the head of Barbarik. Barbarik was shocked hearing this and finds something strange. He asked the Brahman, Krishna, to reveal his true identity. Then Krishna showed Barbarik his divine form of Lord Vishnu. It is believed he was one of the only two warriors who has seen the divine form of Lord Krishna, the other being Arjuna during the war itself. After seeing the divine form, Barbari agreed to give his head to Lord Krishna. But before sacrificing his head, Barbarik asks Krishna to fulfill his desire of watching the entire battle since he will not be able to participate in the battle. Krishna agreed to this. Barbarik cuts his head off and gave it to Krishna. Lord Krishna placed his head on top of a hill from where he could witness the entire battle. After the battle ended, Pandavas started arguing that who is the greatest warrior among themselves, and who is responsible for their victory against Kauravas. Krishna suggested Pandavas to ask Barbarik's head that who is responsible for their victory. Barbarik is the best person to judge since he has witnessed the complete war. When Pandavas asked him about the same, he said that it was Krishna alone who is responsible for their victory. His advice, his presence, and his game plan had been very crucial. All I could see were two things. 1. A divine chakra spinning all around the battlefield, killing all those who were not on the side of Dharma. The other was Goddess Mahakali, who spread out her tongue on the battlefield and consumed all the sinners as her sacrifice. Pandavas then realized that they are just mere instruments to carry out the task of cleaning up the world from adharma. It was Lord Vishnu and Goddess Mahamaya who are actually responsible for their victory. Finally, Krishna blessed Barbarik and drowned his head in river Rupavati. This is the end of narration on Barbarik, the warrior who could have ended Mahabharata war in 1 minute. If you liked the narration, please provide your comment and share your likes. I will post more stories on Hindu mythology and gods.